Hey guys, it's Casual Friday, and that means it's Medium Nancy Matz Friday, and we're going to be discussing the difference between synchronicity and coincidence. See you in about 5 minutes. Grab your popcorn and snacks. Find a comfy spot, take a seat or lie down, and let me transport you to a place of fantasy, ghost stories, ancient legends, odd creatures, alien encounters, and other magical topics. You may even decide to join the conversation. From faraway lands to your own backyard, with a small dash of pixie dust. Turn out the lights and open your minds. The journey is about to begin. Happy Friday, everybody. How's everybody doing? I hope you had a great week. Or you're coming home to have a great weekend, right? One of the two. My name is Charlotte. I'm going to be your host for the next hour. I'm also the owner of the California Haunts Paranormal Investigation Team, based out of Sacramento, California. We are 45 strong up and down the state, and that means we can get to you no matter where you're at. But, big but in there. It may take us a little bit of time because California is a big state. We have every kind of weather you can think of. So, we'll make our way to you somehow. Kind of like the postman, right? Neither rain nor sleet nor dark of night. Anyway, I want to welcome all of you here. If you're watching from Facebook today and you like what you see, please be sure to hit the like button. And if you haven't done so already, to follow, especially if you're watching from my page or you're watching from California Haunts Ghostly Events, even my California Haunts page. We're everywhere. Also on YouTube, right down there in the bottom right-hand corner, you'll see a little ghost with a magnifying glass and Sherlock Holmes hat on. That is our mascot, and he is there to click on so that... Thank you for the like, whoever it was. That was quick. Thank you. You threw me off. YouTube. Anyway, you click on him and a little red button pops up, and that will subscribe you to our YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. We have almost 500 videos there of this show alone. All kinds of different topics, and I think there's something in there for everybody. And also, if you do that, it'll notify you of upcoming shows, like next week, and what's going to happen. Now, I want to do some quick explanation. This is my last live show in this format for a week. All right, I won't be on live at all next week, except I will be on live, but I won't be on live in this show. Monday and Tuesday are going to be a couple best of shows, so I'm going to choose a couple of shows, just random shows to replay. So if you guys want to see those, maybe you missed it, you can do that. Monday, yeah. Wednesday, I have Wednesday and Thursday are guests that are pre-recorded. Friday, Nancy and I pre-recorded the show, so that'll be done, okay? And also Sunday is this Sunday for the book reading is pre-recorded as well. Now, in addition to these shows that are out there, I'm going to be going live. I'm going to go to Disneyland all week. All right, Monday will be the first day in Disneyland, so I'm going to go live, and I'm going to do some live shows here on YouTube, so you guys can go with me. I'm taking you with me. I'm taking you with me on this trip, so you guys can go live with me. I'm going to do half on you. I'm going to do the majority on YouTube, and I'm going to do some on TikTok as well. But you guys are going to be able to go live with me. All right, I'm going to take you on the rides and all that good stuff. Bear in mind, it's going to be funny because I've never done this before. I've only gone live like on doing in house or in building ghost hunts. I've never totally gone live in a situation where I'm going to have speed and all this movement and everything coming at me. So what I go through is what you're going to go through, so you can laugh. You can laugh with me. In fact, with TikTok, you get the option because the iPhone does have a picture-in-picture thing where you can look forward and then you can see my face. So I'm going to be doing a couple of those, which I'll bring over to YouTube so you guys can see. So it's going to be interesting, but that'll be starting Monday. I'm going to try and do all-day coverage if I can without getting exhausted. But we're going to be at Disneyland 4 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and we're going to be going out live. So you're coming with me. All right, but you'll still get the regular shows. All right? Okay. That being said, tonight it's Casual Friday, and that means it's Nancy Matz Friday. And boy, do we have a topic for you. Karen Clark, who's my one of my lead field psychics, is always talking about this, where she and her husband are encountering the same numbers are always popping up, or the same times on the clock are always popping up. Why is that? I've had other people who are near me have encountered that, where they'll see a certain number all the time, no matter where they go, all the time it's a certain number. Well, that's what we're going to talk about tonight. Okay, and there might be another topic thrown in for fun towards the end, but we'll see how we do on this particular topic. But I know Karen Clark sees this all the time, and the question is, they call them angel numbers? Are we seeing angel numbers? Is it coincidence? Is it coincidence when things happen in your life that you can't explain, yet they do happen, and it happens to someone else you're involved with, or vice versa, or weird things like that? That's what we're going to talk about tonight. So without further ado, let me get Nancy in here, and we can start the show. Hang on a second. I just stripped my thing here. Okay, I'm good. All right, here we go.
Good evening, everybody. May I
I'm
move
out of
my
breath
chair up a little? What did you do? Did you run to the station
I did.
here?
I've been like feeding my dogs off and on. And my older dog is really fussy, and Nancy knows this. She doesn't like to eat when I'm sitting in the same room with her. But then there's times when she looks at her own dog food and goes, I don't want that. So then I have to put something else in with it. So I have to make sure she's eating. So I broke up these little dog biscuit things. Went back there to check on her. She was eating, and then she saw me, and that was the end of that. So then I had to get the food out again, put more dog biscuits in there. By then it's like 5 minutes to like 2 minutes to show start. Boom, I came running in here.
I I love this stuff. I'm getting to a place in my life that I talk about this all the time. Free will versus predestination versus just screw up. And how do you know the difference, right? I had a day like Shar is having, and I kind of step back, and though my husband sees me really calm, not always. And today I got a little revved up for what I do, and I just realized it's going to come together or it's not come together. And that's
Right.
the only way sometimes you can deal with it. And it's almost like the universe chuckling, saying, "Let's do this with her today." And I'm one of those that see numbers, even though I don't use numerology, astrology, or tarot. Though I did pick up a tarot deck once, but I got so entwined with the beautiful artwork. So I had 3, 4 decks around here somewhere, and I went and bought a gothic one because the artwork was just amazing, just amazing. And I want to get a shout out to a little lady that is reading my book. She connected with Joseph Martin out of the Bay Area, and Joseph Martin is a tarot reader, and he's a lovely man, just lovely. And we met 25 years ago in Malaysia or somewhere else, and he had a reading by me, and I was talking about these cards, and he's got to do it, and so he did it, and it made him semi famous. And she, I won't say her name, I don't want to embarrass her, but she wrote me a lovely note that she's reading my book and saw the connection. That
Hmm.
is synchronicitous situation. Also, we don't live this life. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And so we go through teachers one after another, and it's amazing if you just pay attention. And you think, well, wait a minute, how many billion people are there? 6, 7 billion people walking around now, and we all have guidance? I don't know how it works. If I had an answer, I would give it to you for a nickel. I told somebody, if I knew how to pass as whatever I'm about, people tell me they don't think I'm quite right, or the aliens have picked me up and twirled me around a little bit. I don't know. But I do believe that we have abilities because we're meant to have them. We choose a life. I've had so many stories of friends, family, and clients complain about their children not wanting to call them mother, or this mom doesn't cook tacos as well as that mother over there, and it just goes on and on. Camille one day called me up 30 years ago. She says my 3-year-old granddaughter just saw a TV show with me, and it was on Peru, and the little girl stood up and went, "Oh, remember when we lived there, but I was big and you were small?" Coincidences, there are none. And we do come back, recycle. You want to call it recycle? I'll call it recycle ourselves with the same dynamics, family dynamics that we wish to be part of. And with
Hmm.
that comes the same vibration, the same energy that we may had had in a past life. And those kind of hard to explain, but I'm going to put it in a lot of different words here. So kind of like listen to me on if you listen to audio only, not visual. I can't
Hmm.
see my hands rolling around, but I believe there's vibration to everything. So if you're in a really bad space, guess what? The rest of your day is going to be a really bad space. What if you're in a bad space? And it happened for a few minutes this morning with me, um, like buying a vehicle online. Have anybody done that? Not easy. And I just realized, ooh, this could be difficult. It's either going to work or it's not going to work. I relaxed. And even though the day didn't go smoothly, I was smooth. And I finished only 10 minutes ago, everybody. Um, get the Geico card, send it to the finance people. I was up to the last minute. I didn't get on this show until 2 minutes, 3 minutes before.
Wow.
And I'm okay. I'm okay. And you know why? Because I've accepted synchronicities, situations, coincidence lead us to do this and that. sometimes a word can trigger you to go in the right direction when then you notice, oh, the path is so much easier. I'm getting signs everywhere. I might have mentioned this before, a client in Fair Oaks. Let's see how I do this. Sacramento area of California. It lived off Fair Oaks Boulevard. And she would ask a question, get in the car, go to work, and look at the license plates of the cars in front of her for the answers. I went, well, that's the first time I've heard that one. Why not? If that's how she gets her answers, absolutely. And there's something to be said about I got a bug flying around. Let me just have one more distraction, everybody. I did some research. I have my own way of explaining synchronicities, situations, and signs. Absolutely, signs everywhere. But I did go on a website that does have, and I took few words. I can't give credit to one person because I mixed them all up. But some of these are not my words, and if the author knows I did this, then it's with due respect that she took the time to do that. Signs and synchronicities are anything that occurs in your experience that holds a particular meaning for you. Often these signs seem to come from an external force, which may have one or more names. I call it the universal force. You may call it God, universe, source, energy, higher power, any other name that feels right for you. Sometimes I call her the diva. Whatever works for you. But I feel like if I could think of a spider web and you're in the middle, you're that spider looking for the food, and something lands on the very edge of the peripheral. That vibration goes all the way down to you. So you can follow that vibration to the reward. And you wouldn't crawl any other way because you don't feel the energy pulling you. Sometimes that sign, those synchronicities are so strong, and you question yourself, should I follow that lead? Then do that. It's the same, a car today. I found one, didn't feel quite right. Two more cars over, found the perfect car for me. It felt like it flowed easier. And it's so easy to ignore those. And sometimes you want to ignore it. You want to go, no, I'm not going to pay attention. It's not me today. I'm going to make my own life choices. Well, sometimes it's not to your best interest to get a grudge or to think you're a knothead like I've called myself in the past. Sometimes you just have to listen. How do you do that? How do you relax? How do you accept that nudge, that push, pull? How many of you? Okay, I got a story. I'm the queen of this, right? I don't meditate very easily. I did initially because that's a pastor of the church told me to do. Universal Christ of the Master, I spent 15 years there and became a minister of a sister church that incorporated the belief of reincarnation and UFOs. So I worked at this church 15 years, and she would start out, the Reverend Keck and Ollie Keck. And so she would have us sit, and after a while, the only thing I could feel were my hiney getting sore. I thought, what's wrong with me? Can't I sit for a half hour? So sometimes when they would do that, I would sing, I would do this and that, and we would do the readings. They had me do readings all the time, and I found interesting correlation between my desire to hit a level versus someone saying you have to meditate, because I didn't know the end result. So if I said to you, at what level are you vibrating at the moment? If you're driving, are you relaxed? Are you in comfort? Don't go to sleep on me, everybody. I'm not going to do that to you. Or are you wound up, and are you having a difficult drive? If I said to you, you're going to get to your destination because it's meant to be that way, you might as well enjoy the ride and be 5 minutes late. What difference does it make? Well, if your wife has or husband has dinner, it can be reheated. There is nothing that can't wait. And with that, your number one priority is to be safe. When you hear that in your head, you're driving, just have a key word: safe, relax. It's called mindfulness. I like that word. It's kind of a lot word. I use popcorn. When things are going wrong, I go, popcorn. Smell popcorn. Shar, you recognize that?
Oh yeah.
The dollar store has the best smelling popcorn, and guess what? I can't eat it. I'll eat sometimes when I have some dental work, but I can smell popcorn like you can't believe. So I'm under stress. I go, popcorn. Ah, boom, I'm relaxed. Okay. That ties in with those of you wanting to be intuitives. I'm going to remember this is a lot of information, everybody. Hold on. For those of you that want to be readers, if you're wound up and someone says, I want a reading, so you have someone coming or calling, and you sit there 10, 15 minutes before and you go, I've got to relax. I got to relax. Oh God, I'm not relaxing. Think of popcorn and put all your focus onto popcorn. You could use beefsteak, onions, steak, whatever you like. What really calms you? When I smell popcorn and it's hot and has a lot of butter on it, it
Mhm.
takes me back to the childhood. It takes me back to mom taking us to the circus or mom taking us to the movies. That aroma calms me down because it takes me away from the focus of what I don't want. Stress, anxiety. Oh, darn, I'm not going to make the appointment on time. I'm telling you, I am relaxed and I've had a day. And during that day, the process of buying a car online, try that sometime. And I say to myself, it's going to work or isn't going to work. I also use that terminology when someone wants me, and we've done that, Char, where people have written in. We should do it again. It was really fun. They would write in, and they say, "Well, I'm in Texas. Who's standing behind me or side me?" And I would describe the spirit person. That's not easy. Hello, what culture are you? Or what do you look like? And I would describe. I'll never forget the young lady whose father passed away. Looked really young, like 40s. Passed away. He was Spank man, very short and dark.
Mhm.
Couldn't do it if she had been Norwegian and he had been 6 foot something. The other one was Pennsylvania, and the house had a line of men t- to the right and back, and they were all lined up. They were dark shadows, but I could tell they were men. And I went, I'm going to be right. I'm going to be really wrong. Thing is, if the spirit's there and they want me to see them, I'll see them. If they're not there, I can't see them. I could not even get into the house with him because they got my attention. We are the ones that want to be noticed. I went, oh my gosh, Shar, guess what? Young man, woman, I think it was a man. And I described it. He says, oh, there had been behind me and to the side, there had been a mine. The mines were back here, and they had this terrible cave in, and a lot of men died. Duh. It wouldn't have worked anywhere else. Couldn't have worked in Nevada. Is there mines in Nevada? Couldn't work in Northern California. We don't have mines here. Now, Pennsylvania, do I know anything about Pennsylvania? Yeah, I know there's mines over in the East Coast somewhere, but that's not a topic I cover. I
Mhm.
would never in a million years have thought of a cave in. Never, never. So I have to say, when you get something, you say something, but you can't say it unless you allow yourself to see something. And we're talking, and I'm really leading up to something. Stay with me, everybody. I'm leading up to the idea that you have to be able to control your energy and your thoughts, because only then, and a lot of us do it spontaneously without realizing, we have gotten to that middle of the road, the easy place to receive guidance from our universe. I like the word, excuse me, my hands here. I do like the word angels. And do the angels help us? Or do our spirit family? Absolutely. Sometimes it's just the universe because we do, each of us, have a path that we are to walk to a day, then we can get out of our bodies. And each of us has created a vibration of our personage on that path. And when you're off your path, you don't feel quite right. When you're on the path, you feel easy. It feels like you're okay. And when you're okay and you get that nudge, by the way, stay on the path, stay on the path, that is either our spirit people, which I do believe in. They are always helping us. They can't control us. They can only nudge us. They can whisper our ear, how are you doing, darling? Please relax. We're going to give you a sign of your next move or your next change or your next step. And you have to follow. If you don't, then you may get off the path and ramble around the mountain, the valley, go over the desert, come back to exactly the same spot you left, and waste a lot of time. Been there, done that. So, my capture of the first few minutes is, are you living your life in a way that you can receive information? And the way to do that, I know a lot of people go, oh, but I'm admitting to you, I am the worst meditator in the whole world. Awful, because my mind is busy. But let me smell hot buttered popcorn and put my focus to that. Oh, oh, I can relax. This is all wonderful. I feel 5 years old. I'm going to the circus, the music, whatever. It was actually a circus where I got the popcorn. Uh, we had a lot of circuses in San Diego, Los Angeles, rather. So anyway, that's how you have to go to a place of wanting to get that guidance. It's not just happenstance. You get guidance all the time. How many of you have said, I went to the store, I knew I wasn't going to get what I wanted? My man friend wanted to go to the big mall. I just felt like, oh, waste of time. It was. I got home frustrated. He got angry because I was frustrated. Well, then you shouldn't have done it. Maybe the neighborhood Marshalls or Ross or Penny's or whatever's out there now. I guess Penny's is not there. Is Sears there anymore? I don't think so. What generation am I really? Right?
Seriously.
Whatever. What's that?
Speaking of the mall, quick interruption. My memory to calm me down. Remember See's Candy used to make caramel corn?
Same thing.
And that was my big thing. That was my big thing. I could still smell that because it was so warm and so fresh. They had balls of corn
Oh
like
my
that.
gosh.
And my dad
Remember
would
I
always buy a big box, and we'd sit there, and I'd always get mad
yeah.
because everybody would want those balls. And I'd be like, no, 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 I want the ball. Give me those big
You
gooey
want those
balls.
balls, honey?
Oh my god! But I can still
It's
taste that caramel corn. Oh my god, and smell it.
and it's the same with hot buttered popcorn. Not a lot of people
Yep.
may not like it. I am a lover of fresh hot coffee. In fact, my kids give me coffee for Christmas, different flavors from around the world. I have to mix it with decaf. What a bummer. But the smell is still there and most of the taste. It's that aroma, that fresh brewed in the coffee cup. Oh my gosh. I love smell of coffee. In fact, one of the readings that I often bring up of a woman who came, she was missing her father terrible. And he showed up immediately and he was a frail looking little guy. He showed me the downstairs in his house to the kitchen. And it was one of those 1960s plastic chairs, laminate tabletop type of thing. And he said, um, have her have a cup of coffee for me. Okay. And I said that to her and she just, oh, I, I should have a Kleenex box everywhere I sit with my clients, right? And
Mhm.
so she just burst out crying. She says, oh my gosh, I would go over before he'd wake up purposely. I would make a brew of hot coffee. It would wake him up. He would come downstairs, and when he sat with me, we'd each have a cup of coffee, and we would hold it in our hands and smell the brew every day. That's that daughter literally loved him. And he told me, he says, I miss the most us, but I also miss the coffee. They can't smell in spirit, but they have memories. So we have done investigations of someone lost. A lot of
Mhm.
times I will bring up a memory of food or mama or grandma perfume. In the olden
Mhm.
days, your parents, grandparents, and more, women wore a lot of soft powder. And the people will oftentimes let me smell that. I go, oh, she smells good. Oh, she does
Mhm.
this. Oh, it's a lilac. It's a powder. Oh, she did. She smelled just like that. I go, well, I'm enjoying it also because they make you remember. Because I had the memory of smelling that. Now, if my granddaughters were to get in this business, they wouldn't have the memories. But my granddaughter did buy me perfume, and when I'm visiting the family, I always wear it because I'll remember that when I go visit her. I'll think, "Oh, I remember that smell." I'm going to make her remember that smell.
Mhm.
It's not that they're bringing smell to the room; they're making you remember it. So that's how you know those people are there.
Well, that's what
But you
I've
have
gone
to
through.
be,
That's what I've gone through on cases. Sabrina, one of our mediums on the team, that's what she instructed us to do. When you come in contact with somebody that's kind of angry or unsure of a ghost that's unsure of
yeah,
themselves,
yeah.
give them a flower so they can remember to help them remember what a rose smelled like
A
or
visual
what
would do it too if they're not.
yeah yeah
Even spirits I've come across that are not what we call conscious. And we did
right
talk about this, and I never got to the place of the unconscious, pardon me, semi-conscious to not even because they're just insane. There's another
right
step after that where we call them demons. They're wild. it's very hard to get them to remember anything. But if someone's kind of semi-conscious and they're just like a spirit and they're in the way, they're not trying to scare it. Sometimes bringing up and making the smell different smell. It's amazing if I said to you, especially if in restaurants, if I see people walking around, they like garlic bread or spaghetti. The real potent smells people remember. I don't think I've ever talked to anybody who didn't like garlic bread. I mean, how many times you've been at grandma's house and there's always a lot of garlic bread? Well, they remember that too, right? Because families that are bigger seem to have meals that spread out a little bit, like spaghetti and lasagna, and we had goulash when we were growing up. Always had bread, garlic
Mhm.
bread. Um, so I don't want to jump around a lot. That was a really good suggestion, is to bring yourself to a place of a meditative balance where you're on your path and you feel comfortable. That's when we will then receive the signs. And you can identify the universe any way you want. I
Mhm.
like the name angels. Absolutely. I had a lady lived in, just forgot her name. Uh, I'll call her Deborah. She took care of her elderly mother-in-law. She was in her 60s, grandma, and so the woman told her one day, "I'm so tired, I could sleep for 100 years." So when I got to the lady, almost, sorry, watch my eyes. You can always tell I'm off shifting. Anyway, we went. I visit her, and she's one of those people that has the lime green carpets, the shag, really crazy. It was really fun visiting her house. And I saw the woman, the grandmother, in spirit in that bedroom where she passed away. And I'm not sure how that works, but she was on a pedestal and she had a purple satin cover. And around her were never been borns. And they looked cherub to me, but they were almost formless, like a kidney bean. And these were helpers to what I would describe as an angel being. She didn't have the wings, but she was as elegant looking, uh, ethereal. And she looked at me and she says, "The woman is tired. She wants to sleep for 95 more years." So it told me that even though she passed away, she wanted 100 years. Time passes differently there. And I told my friend, I said, she has a purple bedspread on. She says, "Oh my God, let me show you." And so she took to the closet and pulled out a purple satin bedspread. She took her bedspread with her. That is just amazing to me. And I think those people are around us all the time. How do we know the difference? I don't know if we know the difference. I know I feel my mother off and on. I feel other spirit people I could recognize if I spent the time trying to. Um, I feel a mother figure. I'm not sure if it's my mother or my grandmother. I feel maybe grandmother, the Indian one, she was a little taller than my mother, 5'6", 5'7", a little bigger. Where did I get these black eyes, right? And so anyway, that gives me a lot of pleasure thinking she's showing up. Anyway, that's lovely. But you see, I dropped my energy to feel it.
Mhm.
I was talking, I said, I dropped my energy. Only when you drop your energy can you feel them and their guidance. Yes, I do believe in numbers showing up. I don't do numerology, astrology. I cannot feel the planets. It's my problem, not yours. If you believe in it, I will love it for you because it works for you, right? But in the universe, the numbers do work. I don't add up numbers. I don't do anything, but I do feel patterns. And I see in the universe things are cycles, which is a number. And someone could give me a list of numbers, like they wrote down 9, 10, 11, 12 numbers in a row. I can read them. Like, what's that about? I don't look at numbers, I feel them. Because you write numbers down, playing out your life. And you can go
Mhm.
here, you go middle, you can go in. I don't know how I can do that. I also can do aura photography. Now, how does that explain? I was invited to take care of aura photography readings in Phoenix, 2011, I think, and for 3 days. And I was amazed. I was amazed. I don't know if I stepped into the person, um, or I was actually reading the colors, but I could see a pattern. It's like when I feel future is ahead of us and past behind us. Oh, that's logical, right?
Mhm.
Right? That's how we see the universe. So yours the same way. One side's past, one side's the future. So these are some of the things, signs in the universe that you shouldn't ignore. And some of these I wrote down, and some of them I just took from all the articles because they put an order to it. Feeling of being looked after, Do you feel looked after? Do you feel like you're not all alone in the universe? I tell you, you are not alone in the universe. I've talked to a lot of people that are orphaned. I'm the oldest of our family now. Like, that's not fun. Do I feel looked after? Absolutely. Do they feel looked after? They do. Because when I think of my family, they can feel it. In fact, I
Mhm.
have people that call me, "Were you thinking of me, Mom?" Yes, I was. If I think hard enough, I can actually kiss my son, and you can feel the face, right? Um, sorry, I have my phone keeps ringing, right? Feeling of being looked after. Trust that you are. And I do believe in personal guidance from past lives. And I do believe that we can have lives with those personal guides from the beginning. So I started in 1990. In 92, I walked away from a 24-year career as engineer Pacific Bell. Does that make sense, right? And one day I was drawing, and I um, I drew a picture of a native from Africa, a girl, and she was dark. She had all this jewelry, and I have it still, and I looked at it in amazement because it just took over. And she showed me that we hopscotch one after the other, and she's always around. And I love that. I don't know what country we were in together, but it's her turn to be around me.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know that she was American Indian, but my family is my mother's side of the family. Is that possible? Absolutely. But when I was younger, her age, I was very dark. As you get older, you sometimes get lighter. I was quite. People used to ask me, "What are you?" I go, "Ah."
Mhm.
So anyway, events appearing meaningfully related despite having no causal connection. Have you ever met somebody who knew you? Have you met somebody for the first time who says, "Oh, I know, and they spoke of you once, but I didn't remember until this moment"? Whoa, what's the connection there? Why are you supposed to know this person? Guaranteed there's a reason. I'll give you an example. So I had a house on Black Mountain, Hornbrook, California. You can look it up. It's by the Oregon border, 35 miles. And I moved my husband down to Oroville for some medical. He needed 3 surgeries in downtown Sacramento. Last place in the whole world I would want to get lost, right? Well, I got lost a little bit the first couple of times. Third time we did get lost. Ended up somewhere I hadn't been before. So there had been a problem with the finalization of papers on the house after 2.5 years. Guess where that was? Where I had got lost for the third time. I knew
Wow.
exactly where we were going. So even though at the time you go, "Oh, I'm so frustrated. I'm so blah, 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 blah," you go, and I want you to say to yourself, "I need to know this for when I need it in the future." Calm yourself down and remember where you're at, because sometime it will be important. Mine was a quick turnaround within a couple months. And I told my husband, "I know exactly where we're going." Ta-da! Your life is syncing up or aligning in a way that can't be explained by science or reason. Talked to a client, this is just recently, and she is super, super smart and very well educated and a project manager, and she put a program together. Well, guess what? The bosses didn't like that. So she was moved. And one of the clerks that worked in her office wanted to side with the boss, not with her, that they had a wonderful relationship. Oh, she bothered me. It was terrible, terrible. So this woman, my client, had to go somewhere else with hard feelings about this person. Why did she side with them? Well, clearly, she had to side with her management. So things have been changed, and that manager now has been taken off the payroll.
Mhm.
Now that he's gone, my client is being rotated back to that unit. Guess what? What I said to my client at the time of this move that was very upsetting, I says, eventually she's going to say she's sorry and then she didn't mean to hurt you. And my friend said, "I don't see how that's possible. I will never interact with her again." Guess what? Now she's going back to the unit. And her last comment to me was, "I can't believe how this is turning around.
Mhm.
I'm going to work with her now." And I warned her, I cautioned her ahead of time to be prepared. Sometimes we shift our energy a little bit, we get softer. because people like me can give caution or warning or whatever it is that we need to make the next step in our life better. You don't have to hit your head on the wall, but sometimes that aligning in a way that can't be explained by science or reason, it's not for my client's betterment, it's for the one that did her wrong betterment. When you're connected with your intuition, also, you have to almost have some intuition to get these unrelated synchronicity situations or paying attention to 1111, whatever the universe wants you to see. When you say, yes, I do have intuition, I'm going to accept it, I love it, I can't wait for it to work for me. When you accept that, you're able to sense when something is a sign or synchronicity, as well as to interpret it. I just said that. Accept it graciously if you get lost, because you will know that you need that location later. If something is uprooted and juggled all around you, you're going to look around and say, what am I supposed to remember? Because this may come around again and I have to be smarter on how to do it. Now, the next thing is I want to talk about is how to recognize synchronicities. If you're not used to recognize synchronicities in your own life, these 3 steps can help you get into the routine of doing so. First off, it's very easy. Pay attention to your life. Pay attention to what's said to you. Pay attention. And we don't. How many of you run any place as fast as you can? Shar?
Yeah, absolutely.
Shar? You listening to me, girlfriend?
Yeah.
We have to pay attention. We don't. How many of us have raised children and our grandparents? Did you pay attention to how you raised them? Duh. They ask you advice, you go, I did the best I could, but it was really quick. It sounds obvious, but are you really paying attention? Got to pay attention. Because if you pay attention to your life and what's happening, just be more attentive. Not 100%. I'm not asking for a miracle. You know, everything takes one step after another to get to the end result. If you don't plan a path, you'll never get there because you don't know where to start. You have to start today. And every day, just take a minute. Am I paying attention to my environment? Am I paying attention to people around me? What are they saying? Am I supposed to notice? Well, pay attention. You will notice. If you spend most of your time using technology going about your day on autopilot, duh, sometimes, then you're not going to notice the signs and synchronicities around you or enjoy the present moment as much as that a whole lot. That is a whole. That's another topic. In order to recognize synchronicity, you have to be aware of what is going on around you. I just said that. Because only when you start thinking, I wonder if there's something's going to be shown to me. What guidance is the universe going to give to me? Popcorn. Calm down. Popcorn. Hot butter popcorn. You get in the theater and you eat it, your fingers all greasy and salty. Oh, hello. Hello. And I can just smell that. Can't eat anymore, but that is it. Mindfulness, I'd like that word. It was given to me years ago. Mindfulness techniques are absolute must for this. Like I said, learning to take your breath in, let it out. I tell my clients, if I've learned anything in the whole universe, when we walk, we can only take one step at a time. When you breathe, you can only take one breath at a time. Remember that. That's called mindfulness. So when you slow down and recognize, am I even breathing? Am I breathing from my chest or from my gut? How am I breathing? Think about it. Are you breathing in short? Are you breathing like an animal? Are you? Or like a baby? Breathe like you are as an adult. Try and be mindful. Breathe it in. Let your body use it and then breathe out what you don't need. Essentially, you want to slow down and exercise all your senses. Absolutely. Do you know that if someone would lose their sight, how many people have heard that the other senses really get really profoundly better? I just saw TikTok of a blind horse, and he lost his eyes. And this lady had gotten the horse as a colt, and it unfortunately got some kind of condition. Both eyes were damaged, and the animal had exceptional hearing, and the slightest little, and the animal exactly knew where she was, or whatever she was giving it. And then when it went to be able to jump over a hurdle, she just gave a command, but it was short and quick. Animals, maybe you don't realize, we want to talk and I'm guilty. I will talk to these silly cats like I'll give them whole sentences. In reality, they hear the first syllable of the first word, right? That's all you need. Or no, that's all you need. Yes, that's all you need because they don't hear much else. They hear your inclinations in your not inclinations fractions in your voice. If it's soft, if it's harsh, that's all they understand. So she has learned how to talk to this horse so the horse has a valuable, a full life, but its hearing has gotten better. We've heard of that happening. Another thing is enjoy your world. I'm teaching you and telling you how to be in perspective only of the shell that's around you. Take it now to the universe. Take it out and look around you. Actually engage in the world around you. Otherwise, you're bound to miss out important messages. Do you pay attention to license plates? I do. I'm not looking for a message, but I find it fun. Okay, that's really fun. So when you get in the car to go somewhere, how are you breathing? Are you anxious, excited? Whatever, calm it down. Find a password, a mindfulness that gets you in the relaxed state of safety, whatever that is. Notice repetition. That's really important. How many times have we seen the same word, the same product, the same car over and over and over? I have a green Volkswagen. I did have a green Volkswagen. I was always seeing green Volkswagens everywhere. So then my daughter calls and says, "Your granddaughter's car just busted. They have two different directions they drive, and we need a car to take the babies, 4 and 6 year olds, to school." Well, I gave up my car in a heartbeat. Do you know what? I don't see yellow Volkswagens anymore. I now see the car that I'm getting all over the place. So you pay attention, and you'll pay more attention to how often things come in your life that show you that. Okay, that's really important. That's really very fun. And I like numbers also. I don't know how to make sense of my always looking at 1111. I'm not sure. So notice a repetition. This should be in theory come naturally if you're paying any attention to anything. The more you pay attention, the more you notice things. Absolutely. Absolutely. Repetition is one of the biggest signs of synchronicity, something you should definitely be looking out for. When things are aligning, you will notice the most commonly reoccurring events, things you see or things you hear. Absolutely. So I could go into that, but I do want to go on. This is not an easy, short topic, though we did at one time talk about it. This is with more detail. For example, you might hear the same phrase repeatedly, multiple times. People which have a clear message for you. So, how many times you've been in a crowded place, you keep picking up the word mom over and over? Did you call your mom? Happens. Absolutely. How many times have I gone to the grocery store and been hit by someone else's cart? I am clearly not paying attention. Now, why is that? Because I don't want to be there, probably. But you have to pay attention to what is most in your life. Take note. A handy tip when you know something that may have a significance is to write it down. I'm not one to write. I write a lot and I read a lot. So writing something down is kind of hard. I'd rather type it. But I know many people who write notes before bedtime to get off their phone, TV, whatever, to calm their mind down. What was their day like? A diary? Just a note taken. How many people wake up in the morning and say, "Boy, I had a dream and it's so clear"? Was it a spirit visitation or was it a message? If you're so inclined, I would do that. If you're one of those memory maker people, I remember everything I possibly can because I don't like to write, then you will notice. And one of the things people pay attention to and talk to me about is the same kind of dream over and over. Now, dreams are kind of strange because we don't know always what we're dealing with, but usually the main focus of the person is you. The activity is action not taken or action to be taken. The third thing would be another individual that needs that action or is hiding action from you. Pay attention to your dreams. Not dreams are always positive. A lot of times dreams are what you should have said or what I could have done. Or is it something you have to be cautious about, something coming up, of which we all know? If you have to have a confrontation with someone at work, guess what? You'll dream for a whole week before the confrontation. What am I going to say? You go hide in a cave, you take a boat on the ocean, you get away, we way away. So pay attention to your dreams and how to deal with something. And always breathe when you're under confrontation. Lower your voice. and kill them with kindness. That's the only way. Because they're so riled up, they're not going to hear you, no matter if you try to talk them down. Just a little tip. At one time in my career, they trained me as a service rep. After training, I said, I don't want that job. All you do is teach me how to deal with bad people. I turned it down. It was a good move. If we're not mindful, sometimes we can go about our daily lives and not even notice the signs that are right in front of you. Are we losing time?
No, I'm
15
looking.
minutes. Oh my God.
We have comments. We're good.
What's
I'm
the
just reading.
anything?
I don't know. I'm just reading.
Okay, any comments I should be knowing about? I could
Oh,
also
that's interesting. Yeah, that is interesting, Laura. Laura says a lot of times I learn something new, and then within a few days I hear about what I just learned for the first time again and again. That's cool.
repetitive. That's a
Repetitive,
repetitive.
yeah.
But you were in a calm listening space to get it in the first place. Love you for that. Um, Manifesting is also a sign that you're in sync and that you're doing what you should do because you're meant to have something. And these are signs. Suddenly you feel hopeful about the future. And then you start remember I said it's energy. You bring into you your desire. You start seeing signs everywhere of your desire. You meet someone who can help you with your desire. You get an unexpected windfall. Yay. Everybody I talk to, I want you all win the lotto, right?
Hmm.
Um, you have sorry. Um, you get an unexpected, okay, you have a strong intuitive hit that something's going to happen. Pay attention. Back up, slow down. What is happening? I was talking to a client the other day, and all of a sudden I got this big rush of excitement coming. And I had to pause and say, wait, don't talk, don't talk. And I tried to pull back that 1/2 second of rush. And I had to say, what we were talking about, I got a good rush on it. And I felt like it was 2.5 to 3 months away. Can't tell you what it is, give up. I can't do that, but this is what I got. And I told her, and she went meditate on. She says, I think I can almost feel what you were picking up. If I'm talking to you, you go back. If we go talk and then you go home or whatever, hang up the phone rather. Go back to when we were talking. Go back to what I was talking about. Close your eyes and hear me say it again. Go into the same moment and you'll pick it up. I never make up anything. I never exaggerate. I just lay it on front of you. That is trueness, true right there. You can go back and capture it when you talk to me, when you think about it. So that's fabulous when people tell me they do that. You get unexpected, let's say you have a strong intuitive hit. You find yourself daydreaming about your goal. That's not so bad. I like that. I this vehicle I want. I I researched Dickens. I'm really good at the computer. 6 months of looking, and today felt I need to do it today, and I'm not sure I know why, but I followed my lead. Just was, and I don't remember dream about it, daydreaming, but maybe thinking about it is the same as daydreaming. You can't do it at work. I can't do it. I'm talking to a client. So I would say in a calming moment, something will float in your mind and think about it. Absolutely. Um, when you think of something that you want coming your way, we will adjust. You will make changes
Hmm.
because you're getting ready. I know ladies, gentlemen too, but most ladies, they'll go on a diet and say, I just feel like I want to feel better about myself. 2 or 3 months later, they've lost 5 pounds, and guess what? They meet somebody, right? Or they get an offer for some job or some opportunity. And we women are so silly. 5 pounds makes a big difference. I mean, really, it's bizarre, but it is the way we're programmed. It's the older generation, anyway.
Hmm.
Um, talk about one of the things that we can talk about for 10 minutes, but I think we have, by the way, you enjoying this? I hope so. Why don't you, before we lose time and you end of the show, but give us a thumb up. I have 47 shows with her, 48 now. Is that
Hmm.
amazing? She told me, and I went, what? I had to go back and count them up. Wow, amazing how time goes. But I do enjoy this. And if you want to capture all my shows, I did put them on um, my site, Nancy Matz. Just type my name in my YouTube, and she gets all the credit for your vision watching them because it's from her show. So if you want just mine, it's all there. Go to hers, sift through it, but give us a thumb up. It encourages us to
A
keep
like button.
going.
Yeah. Show us some love. Show us some love.
Okay,
Hit that like button.
we did want to talk about. the ability to be in psychic after trauma, and the ability to
Hmm.
have this development of abilities. But Char, I think we've lost time. We only got 10 minutes left. I think we have some announcements to make.
Sure, sure, sure.
You have Shar and I have discovered that we can do something together, and I would like Shar to talk about it. If you would want to talk to me, nancymatz.com, and she'll give you info on my 3 books at the end of the show. So hold in there. Shar, talk about your. We talked about your trip, but talk about our new venture together.
California Haunts Paranormal Investigation Team, even though we're not an official non-profit, we don't make money. So essentially, we are a non-profit because there's no funds that come in here, and everything I have to do has to come out of my pocket with this team, whether it's transportation, staying at hotels for investigations, or equipment, or just like I usually give my spiel at the
Keeping
end
the
of the show.
computer going, everybody.
Yeah, keeping everything going, and internet and all that. So what we thought of doing, and we did this with a client very recently, that we Nancy that does these short readings when you guys come on every once in a while. We'll do those, and just general readings. But wouldn't it be cool? We got to thinking about this. Wouldn't it be cool if, for a donation from you guys, if Nancy would do a full reading for you?
Back up.
Mm,
It was only for a ghost investigation.
right, right.
So this lady called and she moved from
Yeah,
Citrus to Pennsylvania. Is that what?
yeah.
And it was strange because when I got into her house, I'm called a remote viewer, and all of a sudden her house and she disappeared. I was on a field looking at the house next door, I guess, and the hauntings. It was really fun, Char.
Hmm.
So she and I talked about it, and there'll be a minimum donation because I'm not going to
Right.
do this for the fun of it, and the money will go to Char and her company, so we can keep this going.
Yeah. So we can keep all this thing going. But
And Char,
Nancy, go ahead.
no, I was going to say Char does have other people on her staff, so if you don't want me, there could be Karen or somebody else who wants to volunteer to do this. But
Right. Right.
I'm stepping up first.
Yeah. It's all to help California Haunts because there's expenses with running this part, and there's expenses with my team, to get out and help people and stuff, and it helps. Every little bit helps. So if you guys
Yes.
would like a really good reading, it'd be nice. You can ask
Hmm.
Nancy about anything.
Almost everything.
Oh.
Private readings are private readings. Ghost investigation, problem with your home. I actually worked for a contractor once in Rancho Cordova, and he was the one that went out and removed the pipes that were the wrong kind. And I used to
Hmm.
tell him where to hit the walls. I said, that pipe is there. That's where you get the sledgehammer. So I worked for him for a while. That was fun. Different. Yeah.
So yeah, so it's just something we're trying to do right now, and it's like anything else. We know people don't have a lot of money, and so we're figuring out a nice cap for it so that it's affordable. But it would be a direct, that would be a donation to California Haunts so that we could keep everything going, keep the websites going, and all this other stuff that needs to be done. A lot of people
Yep.
don't
Yep.
realize the expense.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
Nancy does because Nancy's doing it now too. But people don't realize the expense that goes into putting a show out like this. And then if you have to buy paranormal equipment, maintain all that all the time, and then gas and everything else to go everywhere, it's just really tough to keep everything going.
Yeah.
And I've been very fortunate the last 3 years that you guys have helped me out in a lot of ways. In fact, look what I forgot to do. Look at that.
What?
I'm losing.
What?
I'm losing my look what I forgot. I did everything what I was supposed to do. There we go.
Oh, I was wondering where that was. Is there
There's my
something missing here?
PBS moment. Yeah, I forgot to do my PBS thing. But
If you want to
that's why.
donate,
Yeah, that's why that's running along the bottom is because we're trying to keep up with the I'm trying to keep up with the bills. So let's see.
I
Okay,
don't know
great,
that
Laura.
people
Thank you.
realize
Thank you. Thank you.
how
It's
much
good. Yeah. Yeah.
computers cost to upgrade. And
Especially
my
for ghost investigators, I can tell you, if you're head of a team, you will go through a laptop every year and a
oh
half. Every
yeah,
year,
yeah.
year and a half, you go through a laptop because you're putting so much stuff into it. I've been very lucky, knock on wood, with this
Where's
one.
that wood? Where's my
But
wood?
it's held together with chewing gum, that kind of thing. So yeah, so I mean, you hate to do it, but that's how you got to make expenses. That's why you've got all these people on TikTok that are influencers,
Oh,
even the ones that are at Disneyland. What do? They're getting money from people to keep things going. That's what they do, and that's just the name of the game.
Shar, there's a question. The young lady wants to
Yes,
know, would the readings be live on here? Not
no,
we the We don't.
Nope.
If you have a haunting in your house, is it a good idea to talk about it on public air?
No.
Um, that's not always a good idea. I talk about my hauntings in this house because it's really fun and interesting.
These would be private readings. Oh yeah, we should just say that. These would be private readings for you guys. It wouldn't get out in public, so
Yeah,
that makes it a lot nicer too. So
that
yeah, so I
makes it
mean,
so that
it's
you,
just
if
yeah,
if I have to say something that's not pleasant, you
yeah,
wouldn't want a public air.
yeah,
People,
yeah.
we wouldn't want people think you have a bad house and never come visit you again.
So it's just something to think about, you guys. I mean, it helps. It helps me a lot with the team and everything else because I mean, I love my big thing is this show is to educate people and to inform. And just like when I ghost hunt, we're not just going out to say, hey, you have a haunted house, let's do this. We go out, we check everything from top to bottom in the house. It doesn't matter what it is. Then, if we can't
Mhm.
figure out a logical answer for it, then we start looking at paranormal, and then we take it from there. We're very hands on. We'll go out 2, 3 times if we have to help people with whatever's going on in their homes.
And Char
So,
cannot do the whole state, everybody. She will find somebody,
yeah,
or we'll do a remote like I do, like
yeah.
I am.
So, yeah. So, I mean,
Mhm.
I will find a way. It used to be I was so into it that I would let people, call me if they had an issue 24 hours a day, but I can't do that anymore. I'm getting too old for that stuff. But it
Oh,
used to
don't
be
tell me that.
people would
It's
just,
too hard to get out. Period.
yeah,
Just
so yeah,
gas is going up again, everybody. It's off over
so if it's something you
418
guys
now.
would be interested in, let me know, let Nancy know, and we can take it from there, but it would go directly into California Haunts for expenses and all that stuff. All right, it's enough begging. It's enough of that. Enough of that. Enough of that. So
Well,
next week, go ahead.
no, it's nice to let people know that
Yeah,
this is the amount of money for, like when I'm creating my videos here, even to join a program like Hava, everything costs. It was amazing
yeah,
to me.
everything.
StreamYard has a price, and all the equipment's just
I
on and
call it
on.
cha-ching, nickel and dime, nickel and dime, nickel and dime. Just
They
everything
kind
adds up.
of. All
Hmm.
right, your turn, hun.
Okay, so again, I made the announcement in the beginning of the show. Next week, I will not be here for this show at all. Boom. However, I've got you covered. We're going to have some pre-recorded guests on, including Nancy, for next Friday because I don't know what time I'm getting home next Friday. I'm coming back next Friday, so I don't know what time I'm going to be home, and I'll probably be too bloody tired after all this. So Nancy and I already pre-recorded this show for next Friday, but there's a couple days where I don't have guests lined up because it's just been really tight getting guests lately. But it's starting to open up again, so I'm going to do a couple best of days where I'm going to pick out a couple of titles where people really like the shows, and I'm going to replay those for you guys. But okay, this is where it gets fun. In the evening, during the day, in the evenings, I don't know what times I'm going to be doing this, so I'm going to have to line them up like during the day. Okay,
Hmm.
hang on a second. No, not necessarily hauntings, Laura. It doesn't have to be hauntings. It could be some other stuff too.
Like what?
Like, I don't know, questions you might have.
I don't want to make them private because that's what I do for a living. This
Okay,
is
okay,
California
okay.
Haunts Radio,
All right, just hauntings then. Okay, just hauntings.
issues around the house, right?
Yeah, issues around the house.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so cool. Anyway, step back again. Okay, so I'm going to be going out live, and I'm going to do it on YouTube. I was trying to figure out a place to do it because if I do it on TikTok, it's not fair to you guys that don't have a TikTok and don't want to join TikTok. Because I know there's people that are
Me.
leery about being on TikTok. So I decided I'm going to do it live on YouTube, and so I will let you guys know when I'm going live. I will announce it over Facebook and the usual places, so you guys know when I'm going to go out live, and I'm going to take you with me on all the rides. And I bought the equipment for it, and it should be interesting to see how it goes. Okay, I've got everything I need, and yeah, I've got all these harnesses and stuff, chest harnesses, and all this for the roller coasters and all this other stuff. So I'm going to be doing that because I want to take you
Really
guys with me.
fun.
So it'll
It's
be
gonna be
fun.
fun.
It's going to be fun. And like I said, I have a camera within camera thing on my iPhone. So when I'm on TikTok, and of course I can get copies of this, I can not only record what's going on in front of me, but you guys can see the look on my face as I do loop de loops and stuff like that. So
Loopy loops.
loop de loops, right? So you'll be able to see it all live, for majority alive and stuff.
I guess
So
I want to know: are there known hauntings in
yes,
Disneyland?
and that's the other thing I'm covering. That is the other thing I'm going to do is I know a lot of the haunting stories at Disneyland. So before we get on the ride, and I'm saying we because I'm talking all of us that are listening. Before we get on the ride, I want to tell you the story about the haunting for that particular place.
Ooh, I love it.
Okay, so I've been gathering these things for like a year, and we're gonna tell some stories. We're gonna have some really cool, stories about Disneyland. So come on board, and like I said, I won't know directly because I mean we got to get to the park. I got to get stuff set up, and there's other stuff because I'm not going to be walking around. I'm going to be on a scooter, so I got to get the disability thing going on because there's no way I'm going to walk the park anymore. Just not going to happen. But so I got to get that arranged to get my disability pass and all that at City Hall. So once we're done with that, figure out what path we're going to take for that day around the park, and then away we go. We're going to go live.
So you have to get that pass down there?
Yeah, I have to get it
Oh, my.
at the park itself. I have to go get in
Oh,
line.
okay.
If it works like it did the last time I was there, because I had one when I was still able to walk, but still was limited. So as far as standing in lines and stuff, so I had to go to City Hall and then get my pass.
One more thing to do. Sorry, sir.
Yeah, so I'll have to do that. So yeah, so I got a harness, and so when I'm driving around, my chest harness when I'm driving around on the scooter, I'll have it hooked up, and you guys can look at people's butts.
I think that's fun.
Look at people's butts or backs as I'm walking, and
I
so
can
it's
just see you. Get out of my way. I'm going to that ride.
Hit the little horn, But so it should be pretty fun. And so we've got 2 days in I call it California Adventure, but they call it something DCA now. And then I've got 2 days over the Magic Kingdom, so we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna go on rides. So
can't wait.
Come with me. Come on the rides with me, okay? It's gonna be fun. I'm gonna tell ghost stories, and we're gonna have fun. Like I already have plans for Mr. Toad that's gonna blow people's mind because
Mr. Toad?
I'm not a screamer, but you know what? If I find something amusing about a ride, I'm gonna have fun.
Are you a screamer?
No.
Oh, you have a toy or something that screams.
Maybe.
Oh, God.
Mr. Toad and stuff like that, and Mickey's Runaway Train. I already figured out some really cool plans for that. What I'm going to do when I'm going through the ride. So.
All right.
Mickey's Runaway Rail Train. Goofy steals the train. So he's driving.
Let's close up shop. We've got an hour here.
Okay, so when people know the story of Mr. Toad, right? Mr. Toad takes a car and runs over everything, goes to hell and all that, Well, imagine Goofy like driving a train. So it's the same thing, Don't give a license to a Toad or Goofy. So that, you can see how it's going to be. Anyway, I'm going to shut up now. But be sure to be back. You guys, be sure to be back here on Sunday evening, 6:30, because I am going to tape the book read. So for those of you that are into reading the book or into hearing the book read, I will have that available to you. All right. Okay, well, what I will do is I will see you Monday at some point live from Disneyland, and should be an interesting trip to do this and this is the other thing, I've never done this before. I've done lives at ghost investigations and stuff with the system, but I've never done like a live from anywhere else where I'm going to be physically holding the camera and talking into a mic and talking to people out there. Okay, so. Okay. All right, guys. Well, that's it for us tonight, and I will see you Monday at some point from DCA, and we'll start our nice fun week at Disneyland. Okay. All right. Catch you later. All right. Now I'm going to give you Nancy's information, like I always do, so you can see how to contact her and her books and all that good stuff. And before I forget, and let's see, down. There we are. Too many buttons. Here we go. Website, it's nancymatz.com. All lowercase, nancymatzauthor.com, the N, M, and A are capped, and youtube.com, Nancy Matz Psychic with the N, M, and P capped. Help, get me out of this funk. Nancy Matz book. Two Worlds, Developing Your Psychic Skills, Nancy Matz. The Unwilling Sacrifice, Nancy Matz. And of course, you can get those at Amazon.com. My creaky chair. All right, guys, I will see you Monday live at some point, and be looking out on Facebook and at Meetup to get those announcements, and over at Instagram and all that, because I will try and inundate everything before I go live. I already have art picked out for it. So okay, I will see you at Disneyland. Have a good